Yeah, this is the broad range of course we use it to teach as a part of cloud infrastructure. So if if requirement is a kind of a cloud engineer position, so we're supposed to cover these many services as a part of our institute course actually. So it includes core services, so CLI, so we use it to cover databases, analytics services, machine learning. So machine learning, so we use it to cover the monitoring, troubleshooting, and audit. We're supposed to go for the AWS integration services such as simple queue services, simple notification services, and some serverless functionalities such as AWS Lambda, so DynamoDB, API gateways, and step functions, and some container services like ECS, that is stands for Elastic Container Services, and Elastic Container Registry, and Elastic Kubernetes, and App Runner. So apart from that, we use it to teach this AWS security best practices also like the KMS. So no need to be get panic about the terminology. So the thing once you are entered into that particular services, you will be habituated about this terminology. So secrets manager, IAM policies, and we're supposed to go through the networking deep dive like VPC, and is supposed to cover the disaster recovery and migrations. So apart from that, some other services which were required for a cloud engineer. So we're supposed to cover these many services as a part of our AWS cloud infrastructure. So, but I needed to tailor it. So I just noted everyone inputs. I supposed to tailor this course. So no worry. So I come out with a new curriculum. So that will serve entire uh, population that were here. So coming to the introduction. So AWS. So it is a largest cloud provider. So we have the multiple cloud providers in the market. So approximately 1,000 plus cloud providers were there. So varying the size of their capacity. So they provide the servers and services so that market required. So and they can scale very easily. So AWS powers some of the biggest websites in the world. So these are the notable websites that were being served by the AWS for the time being. So that could be Amazon for the e-commerce purpose, Netflix for the streaming, and even Twitch also for the gaming streaming. So LinkedIn, as you know, it's a social networking platform. So EBC for the streaming, ESPN, Adobe. So even Meta also make use of this AWS. So they have their own dedicated private cloud. Still, the Facebook make use of this AWS. So the Spotify for the music streaming, and Pinterest and Reddit. So this for the image sharing kind of thing. So almost so this picture will tells us the numbers as I told. So the AWS is having the edge over the cloud providers. So we have popular cloud providers in the market. So that is AWS, Azure, GCP. So if you look at the numbers, so what are the popular? So among the cloud providers, so AWS is the popular. So why? Because so I'm not saying the orally. So the numbers will tells us. So who is making use of which cloud? So if you look at the market, so 31% of the entire compute, storage, and the networking that is being used across the world, so is comes from the AWS. So next is the Azure. So Azure used to be at 10% previously. So 2 to 3 years, it's pick up its momentum. So it's reached to the 24% at present. So there is a possibility that so it may overtake even AWS also. So Azure used to be at 10%. So it help. So whatever the AWS, Microsoft, their own suits or product over there. So their integration and sync helping the Microsoft to pick up its momentum, and now it is at the 24%. So still, so even though we have the large pool of cloud providers, so that could be AWS, Azure, GCP, Alibaba, Salesforce, IBM, Oracle. So I just listed the top seven only here. So apart from that, we have the 1,000 cloud providers in the market. So specific to the region, so specific to the country, and specific to the province. So these are the popular public providers. So again, among the popular public providers, so AWS is the leader with approximately so 31%. This is the previous number. Currently, it is at 32.3 somewhere. So recently I checked. So approximately 32 to 33%. Still, AWS is a market leader. So this is the timeline of various AWS services evaluation. So you no need to memorize these things. So you just go through it. You will just get a brief idea. So which service came into the picture at what point of time. So I just listed the popular services. So when they were evolved into the market. So when it comes to the challenges, traditional data centers, so previously we used to deploy our applications. So whatever our compute requirements, database requirements or networking capabilities were there. So we use it to really depends upon our physical data centers or traditional data centers. So the problem or the challenges with the traditional data centers was, so as you know, so already experienced guys, so it comes with the cost. So there will be huge upfront cost in initial days. So to build or establish a data center, so we need, it requires a very high initial cost. So with respect to the building, so hardware, so cooling, power and ventilation equipment. So apart from that, it is a very difficulty or it is hard to predict the actual requirement, hardware requirement. So this is the uncertainty in the planning. So initial days, you might expect a nominal traffic into your applications or your infrastructure. So later days, it might rise. So appropriate procurement and discarding the initial hiring. So it will put an additional cost in your infrastructure. So capacity planning was very difficult. Why? Because the business was uncertain about your requirements. That's why it is very hard to predict your requirements. So this is a one limitation about your traditional data center. So apart from that, so you should have a staffing so to take care of your entire data center, and technicality is required with respect to those people to maintain or to take care of your data center. So these three is the popular limitations of a traditional data center. So these three parameters drive the entire entire market into the towards cloud. So one is the cost, huge upfront cost. So capacity planning, it is hard to predict. So when the when the demand is high for your application or your business, so when the business is low, so your data center is lacking the agility or elasticity. So if it requires high demand, so it's supposed to it needs to be elastic. So there needs to be an auto scaling like automatic availability of infrastructure. If there is no demand to your application or infrastructure, it's supposed to scale down. So such agility is not available with your traditional data center. So you need to procure an entire setup. So when it comes to the public cloud, so what are the cloud features? What are the benefits you are getting as a part of cloud? So why the organizations or the people moving towards the cloud infrastructure? So the one comes with the scalability. So that could be with respect to the vertical or that could be horizontal. So difference we will see in the late classes. So what is the vertical scaling and what is the horizontal scaling? So number one is the scalable. So your requirements will be served immediately. So that could be for suppose your workload is increasing. So your business is increasing. So you need more and more resources with respect to the compute, network, or databases. So your application or your resources can be scaled appropriately depends upon your requirement. So in case if there is a reduction in a demand to your application, so your resources can be automatically scaled down. So as per requirements, so you will be charged for as you go. It is like that pay as you go. So you'll be charged for the resources that you are making use of it. So in the day one, so you might reserve the 100 EC2 instances or 100 servers for your business requirements. So in the next day, you might expecting after some 1 month, your business has been improved. So you might need the 500 servers. So automatically you can scale up from the 100 servers to the 500 servers. So in initial days, you'll be charged for the 100 servers and the later days will be charged for the 500 servers. So for suppose after some point of time, the demand is went down. So you're supposed to scale down your application to the some 50 servers. Still, you can scale down to the 50 servers. Now you will be charged for the only 50 servers for whatever the compute you make use of it. For that only you are going to pay. So it is like that a pay as you go model. So that's why it comes with the scalability. You can go with the horizontal scaling and the vertical scaling. So scalability is the first feature. So that will recommend to move to the cloud infrastructure. So later elasticity. So as I told, you can it's a responsive and adaptability to the workload. So you can scale up your application and you can scale down your application depends upon the business requirements. At the same time, you can go for the high availability. So this is the most critical feature, high availability. So it is a traditional data center. So your traditional data center sit our single location. So if your office is present in Hyderabad or Bangalore or in America somewhere, so you cannot expect the high availability since your traditional data center lies at a single place. For suppose, so there could be a possibility of hardware failure. So there is a possibility of power loss. There is a possibility of natural calamities. So when there is these kind of disruptions was there, so there is no chance of getting the high availability. So your entire application, your entire infrastructure goes down. So there is no chance of high availability. So the word high availability will stands for the 100% uptime of your application or your application or your business. So approximately 99.99% your application needs to be accessible. For that, your entire infrastructure needs to be intact and it needs to be available. So with a traditional data center, you cannot maintain it. So, but when it comes to your public cloud, so they were maintaining the multiple availability zones. So they were giving a feature of multi-AG deployment. So like your application will be deployed at the multiple locations at a same point of time. So in case one availability zone or one data center went down, so automatically another data center will comes up. So new AG will be spin up at a different AZ. So your application will be accessible round the clock and at any point of time. So high availability can be implemented through the multi-AZ deployment. So load balancing can be done. So for suppose if the traffic is coming to the specific location, so this traffic can be distributed using the load balancing. So in detail, we'll see inside so how load balancing can be executed. At the same point of time, auto scaling can be implemented. So to for suppose your traffic is very high. So if you want to scale up your application, if you want to scale up your storage capabilities or the compute capabilities, so the auto scaling can be implemented across many services. So almost all the services comes up with the capabilities of auto scaling. So using these features like multi-AZ deployment, load balancing, and auto scaling, so you can improve the availability of your application or availability of your business services. So another feature was fault tolerance. So in case there is some fault with your infrastructure, so underneath infrastructure, so there were different cloud deployment models. So that could be so infrastructure as a service, or that could be platform as a service, or that could be software as a service. So I will show what it was actually. So there is a fault tolerance that could be at infrastructure level, so platform level or service level. So whenever there is a disturbance to your application, so immediately, so appropriate health checks will be triggered to take care of your application health, or a new application or new services will be triggered to take care of your fault tolerance. So these features like scalability, elasticity, high availability, and fault tolerance, so driving the market to move towards the public cloud. So these are the cloud features. So when it comes to the cloud deployment models, we have the three deployment models like private cloud, public cloud, and the hybrid cloud. So when it comes to the cloud deployment models, like where your cloud infrastructure is located, so who controls it and who can access it and use it. So it depends upon these three parameters like so it depends upon the location, so where it is being located, and who can control the resources or underneath infrastructure, and who can access these resources. So it can be categorized into the private clouds, so public clouds, and the hybrid clouds. So private cloud is a kind of thing, it is dedicated to a particular organization. So outside people cannot make use of it. So a cloud is nothing but I can say a data center with all capabilities like compute, networking, so databases, and networking capabilities. So what exactly it was, we will see in the coming classes. But for time being, you just understand. So we have the three different types of clouds. So one is being private, so which is dedicated to the particular organization. So there may be an X organization. So all these resources that could be compute, storage, databases, networking capabilities. So it will be applicable to that particular organization. So outside people cannot access it. So if it is like this, so if the cloud is accessible to only that particular organization users, so then it will be called as a private cloud. So the features will be same. So it's like the higher infrastructure over that hypervisors, over that mechanisms. So everything will be same. So but it will be restricted to the one particular organization. So common public or outside people cannot make use of it. So the resources were dedicated to that particular X organization for their business requirements. So then it will be called as a private cloud. So apart from that, so the features will be like this. So maintained by the organization itself. So located on site. So wherever the organization was present, so it will be located on that particular X site. If it is a meta, so it is along with the meta site. So it will be definitely costly. So why? Because the resources were completely dedicated to that particular organization. So entire cost needs to be bear by the organization. So there will be use upfront cost and it will be more secure. So the only feature going for the private cloud was because of its security. So since the underneath hardware or resources were being only accessible by that particular organization, so you are strictly not allowing the outside commodity So the infrastructure will be highly secure at the same point of time, since since it is since the underneath hardware is not being allowed outside. So whatever the data present, so whatever the applications present, so whatever the patents being present, so will be highly secure. So it will be mostly adapted by the large organizations, so enterprise size organizations, so where they have the high compute requirements, have database requirements. So and they need the dedicated networking capabilities. They may choose for the private cloud. So it will be mostly like so whenever they have a sensitive or critical data. So if they are mostly involved in the R&D and patents kind of thing, if they have own products, so their patents needs to be preserved, so their code needs to be preserved, so they doesn't want to send their code outside, so they doesn't want to share their infrastructure with outside people. Such kind of organizations will choose for the private cloud. So it is like you can take Facebook or Meta. So they have their own cloud. So since they doesn't want to share their source code with the outside people, or they do, since users data is a bit sensitive, so they doesn't want to share their hardware or infrastructure with outside people. So they are going for their own public. They're going for their own private cloud. So apart from that, even though it's having their own private cloud for the some portion of this their requirements, compute requirements, still the Meta is depending on the AWS for another services, mostly for the content delivery network. So whatever the Reels content was there, so it needs to be delivered to the users, nearest users without latency. So to deliver the content and for the caching purpose, so the Meta is depending upon the this portion, so this AWS portion. So apart from that, so whatever the source code is there, so whatever the patents were there, so all those things they are maintaining a separate private cloud. So this is the private cloud. So apart from that, so public clouds. So will be infrastructure. So whatever the infrastructure were there underneath hardware. So that could be routers, switches, storage kind of thing, compute kind of thing, CPUs, memories, all these things. So whatever the underneath infrastructure was there. So over below the services. So this will be maintained and operated by the cloud service providers. So there will be a cloud service provider. So that could be AWS. So that could be GCP. That could be Azure. So the underneath infrastructure will be taken care by the cloud service provider, everything, and it will be available for the public use. So anyone can access its resources. So compute things, networking things, storage things, so whatever the underneath infrastructure, the resources were there. So it is open to the market. So anyone can access it. So that's why it's called as a public cloud. So it is open for the public use. So the problem with the public cloud was, so it is coming at the cheaper price definitely. So compared to the private cloud, the public cloud was much cheaper. So even though the cloud providers were promising that, so your data is definitely very sensitive to us. So you are keeping, so whatever the content, so whatever the data was there, it is completely confidential. They use it to stay. So still people has to have a dilemma or doubt. So what is the guarantee that, so when we are sharing our hardware, so that could be CPUs, so that could be storage kind of thing with respect to the elastic block storage. So we have the elastic file systems, we have the S3, we have the databases. So if you are making use of the public cloud, so we are storing our data in their databases. When you are sharing the hardware, so underneath hardware is under the shared model. So there is a possibility that data theft or data loss. So even though AWS claims, so AWS claims that, so your data is highly confidential, so we are not sharing it. So but people afraid of, so whatever the product owners were there, so large size organizations were there, so they were not relying on the public cloud. Since we are sharing the hardware, so there is a possibility of data loss or data theft. So when it comes to the popular AWS popular public cloud services, so you can list. So AWS are the by just looking at the numbers, you can say. So AWS is at the top. So next is the Azure. So we have the popular cloud services like IBM, Alibaba, Google Cloud, GCP, and we have the Oracle. So anyone can access it. So if you just create an account, so you can create an account and anyone can make use of it. So this entire whatever the maintenance was there, so with respect to the building infrastructure, so with respect to the power cooling requirements, so everything, so with respect to the hardware will be taken care by the cloud provider. So another option was hybrid cloud. So under the cloud deployment model, we have another model that is called as a hybrid model. So if an organization make use of, so just now I discussed the Meta. So Facebook, so they have the both categories. So one is being private cloud, another is being the public cloud. So some portion of it. So wherever they felt this data is critical, so this content is critical. So such content is being kept in the private cloud. So where no one is access. So how can you control it? I'm saying that private cloud. So we need some firewalls. So we need some security best practices. So it can be achieved through the various services that are available at the service. So we can discuss at security services level. So how we can restrict in a private cloud. So some portion of their resources will be kept in the private cloud where no one can access it other than the organization people. So some portion of their content, so some compute, some databases, they will kept in the public cloud. If organization is following such kind of thing, so that can be called as a hybrid cloud. So if I say hybrid cloud, if an organization is following hybrid cloud means so they were having the both modes. So some part of it is being private and some part will be in the public cloud. So many organizations nowadays following the hybrid cloud. So it depends upon the size of the organization. If the organization is big in size, and if it is a product-based companies, so they are going for the hybrid cloud. So some portion they are keeping under the private. So wherever the criticality was there, so they are maintaining the small size data center, so such that the purpose will be served. So that will be kept in the private category. So wherever the content that is being non-sensible and that can be kept in the public side, so they are moving for the public cloud. So nowadays, many large organizations, small organizations right away will go for the public cloud with respect to the cost. So cost is the matter. Cost is the matter. So they will go for the public cloud. So apart from the small organizations, if it is a large organization, they have a critical data, some patents, some R&D data, research and development data. So they are choosing a hybrid cloud option. So with private and public combination. So these are the deployment models. So after the deployment models, you have some service models. So mostly like infrastructure as a service, so platform as a service, software as a service. So while you choosing cloud, so you have your business requirements for your business, you require the cloud. So while choosing the cloud, you have the different service models. So this picture will represent so how it will be like this. So if it is on premises, so everything will be taken care by ourselves. This is the traditional data center. So here networking, whatever the hardware was there, servers, storage, networking, over that virtualization, so over that operating system, middleware, runtime, and application. So everything will be taken care by ourselves. So this is the traditional data center. So we have to build our own servers, we have to purchase our own storage and networking capabilities. So ourselves, we have to virtualize our hardware. So for the efficient utilization, so over that, we have to install OS and the middleware, and we have to install runtime that is required for our applications. So dependencies over that, you have to deploy your application. So everything will be taken care by us. So this is the on-premises or legacy structure that is being followed previously. So when it comes to the cloud, so it will be like this. So if you're choosing the infrastructure as a service, so whatever the hardware is there with respect to the servers, storage, and networking, so over that virtualization, so these things will be taken care by the cloud service provider. So hardware, if it is infrastructure as a service, so it will be taken care by the cloud providers. The leftover will be our responsibility. So I will tell with respect to the some services when we are entering the inside. For time being, you just think like this. If it is infrastructure as a service, so only hardware will be provided by the cloud service provider. Like if you take an EC2 instance, so only infrastructure will be provided. Only compute will be given to us. So server will be given to us. Storage and networking capabilities will be given to us. So EC2 is an example of infrastructure as a service. So only infrastructure will be provided to us. So over that, OS, runtime, and application deployment and application maintenance was our responsibility. So organization responsibility. So after the infrastructure as a service, we have a platform as a service. So we have an application that needs to be run successfully. So end purpose was deploying your application and to take care of this application uptime or business continuity at 100% uptime. So when it comes to the platform as a service, so under the platform as a service category, so if we have an application that needs to be run relentlessly or intact, so for that under the platform as a service category, so both hardware and this operating system middleware and runtime will be provided by the AWS itself. So the cloud provider himself provide these entire things. Like especially this comes under the hardware up to the servers. So the hardware will be provided by himself at the same time. So whatever the runtime is required. So to run your application, so you will come up with your application. So this is my Java Spring Boot application. I want to deploy this application. So please provide the platform also to deploy this application. So whatever the Java libraries, so Java runtimes, Spring Boot frameworks requirements. So all these things will be provided by the AWS itself. You can simply deploy your application or require dependencies with respect to your application. So you can deploy this application, you can deploy straight away into the your infrastructure, and you can run your application. This is a platform as a service. So it's a kind of elastic beanstalk service. In coming sessions, we will see. So elastic beanstalk is a one such kind of example. So it will comes up with both. So infrastructure that we require to deploy your application, and OS and whatever the middleware and runtime that is required to run your application. So there will be two levels of runtime. So the front level of runtime will be given by the AWS. Apart from that, your application may have your application specific runtime dependencies that will be managed by you. So this is a platform as a service. So post to that, you have a software as a service. So straight away, so they will provide a service. So you need, for suppose, a specific service. So that could be any software. So for your business requirements, so that could be any business requirements. So that could be for the registrations purpose. So that could be like maintaining entire records of your business. So you need a entire software. So if you expect software as a service also, so depends upon your business requirements. So it will be also provided by the software as a service. So if they are offering it, so if your business requirement is like maintaining the data of some take an hospital scenario. So in hospital was to maintain his patient's records. So is our it's a kind of like they want to maintain application by the hospital, like so available doctors, so patients records, patients details, so their records with respect to their health conditions, like so whatever the patient's details were there. So they do not want to do anything. So they straight away they want to make use of it. So it is a kind of software as a service. The software will be sold by the cloud provider itself, such that you can just straight away make use of it by paying certain amount of bill. So this is a software as a service. So three different service models. So apart from the legacy on premises, so infrastructure as a service, so platform as a service, and software as a service. So these are the broad range of AWS service across different categories. So under AWS, we have the different categories. So as I'm saying, so compute, storage, networking, so databases, analytics for the large databases, for large data sets. So to manage your large data sets, they come up with an analytics category. So apart from that, AWS cost management. So this is the thing you have to discuss. It is not like that the services were available, so you can make use of any amount of services of any size. So it will comes up with a big cost. So you have to customize or you have to optimize your cost usage. So for that, you have different services to optimize your infrastructure cost. Under management governance, you have some services and migration transfer. In case your application is being at legacy or it may be at virtual services, so you want to migrate your application from your on-premises to the AWS cloud or cloud. So they come up with some services like this. So apart under the security category, so the AWS comes up with some amount of service. So this is the broad category. So under the compute, we have the EC2, Beanstalk, Fargate, and Lambda. So under the storage, so we have the S3 EBS, EFS, S3 Glacier. So this is the broad category. So under the each broad category, so they are providing the certain services. This I didn't listed all the services. So I just listed the only popular services with respect to the category. So as per your requirements, so each and every guy come up with the different requirements. So that could be with respect to the SRE role. So that could be technical manager role with respect to the developer. So some people comes up with the CI/CD pipeline. Some people comes up with the TAM kind of thing. So let me tailor these codes, which services need to be, what all services required to be covered as a part of this course. So it will be approximately some 15 to 20 hours. So I will try to cover as much as possible with respect to the both SRE perspective, cloud infrastructure perspective, and a DevOps course perspective. Yeah, that is a brief introduction about cloud infrastructure, so cloud deployment models and the cloud service models. So after that, so let us enter into the AWS. So we'll start with the AWS reasons. So it's like, so where it is being present. So if you look at the map, so they launched 33 regions already. So they're already serving at the 33 regions and six more regions to come in coming days. They planned somewhere here, Canada West. So Melbourne, some proposed locations were there. So apart from that, they already present at 33 locations. So what exactly the region? So the AWS is serving across the world. So they separated entire infrastructure using the word regions. So what exactly is the region? So it's just a simple logical separation. So let me take to demonstrate what exactly region. See, how does it operates actually? So I will take Indian scenario. Let me take an Indian scenario. So Indian scenario. So we have the two regions in India. So one is being at one is being. If you take India, so we have the. So if you take the Indian scenario, so we have the two regions here. So I will take the one region and I will explain how these regions and the availability zones will work for the better understanding. So if I say region, so region is just a logical separation. So it is not a physical separation. It is just a so logical separation. So logical. So it is not the physical one. So if I say a region, AWS region, it's just a logical separation. So I will make better understand what exactly region. So I am taking the Mumbai region. So AWS saying that Mumbai is a region. So what it was exactly, I will tell you. So if I say Mumbai region, so it will have a minimum. So it will have a minimum of minimum. So minimum 3 data center it will have. So maximum is depends upon the it is a open. So it is a open. So it may be vary depends upon the compute requirements in that particular region and demand on that particular region for their services. So some is having 5, some is having 7, some is having 9. So that is irrelevant. So but minimum they will have a 3 data centers. So if I take a India region, so if I take an India region, so if I take a Mumbai region, so another region is there, that is the Hyderabad. I will show how they are segregated. So if I take the Mumbai region, so minimum we will have the 3 data centers. Minimum I will take 3 data at 3 different regions. So this is the region 1. So this is the region 2. So this is the this is the data center 3. So this is the data center 1. So data center 2 is the data center. This is the data center 3. So if AWS announces a region, so they will have a minimum 3 data centers. So each data center will be called as again AG. So availability zone. So availability zone. So they were separated by some amount of distance with a good decent amount of distance. So they use it to represent. So tens of kilometers they use it to say tens of kilometers. How many tens exactly they didn't reveal. So we'll have a minimum of 3 data centers. So these data centers, rather than calling as a data center, they will calling as a AG, availability zone. So they were separated by some tens of distance. So what tens, how many tens is a question mark. So where the available data center 1 is being present in India, so where the data center 2 is present in India, and where the 3 is present in India, so it's definitely again a question mark. So they didn't reveal it. So to have a security, so to prevent the physical attacks, so they won't reveal the physical presence of their data centers. So, but they simply say it is a Mumbai region. So I will tell how that's what exactly Mumbai region. So if I say Mumbai region, so Mumbai region is having minimum 3 data centers. So each data center is calling as a one AG. So AZ1, AZ2, AZ3. So these all data center together all together will be called as a one region. So they established the physical data centers. So with certain decent amount of distance, the purpose is to maintain the distance was so to take care of calamities or natural disasters. So there is a possibility of storms, there is a possibility of rains. So there will be some natural calamities. So there is a possibility of power loss. So there is a possibility of some disasters. So to withstand this disaster, to withstand these disasters. So if I place all data centers in a single place, so there is a possibility of losing all three at a place because of natural calamity. So because of disasters, that could be any natural calamity, or that could be power loss. So there is a possibility of having power loss in a single region. So that's why, so they placed three different centers at some hundreds of kilometers distance. So now they are calling as a AZ1, AZ2, AZ3, all three together now. So all three together. So AZ1, AZ2, AZ3, all together will be called as a one region. So this is a one region. So within the region, I have the availability zones. So availability zones, nothing but the data center. So again, so is it a guarantee that availability zone should have only one data center? It is not like that. So in initial days, so they might thought that so certain capacity, certain compute capacity, certain networking capacity, or certain databases capacity serve the purpose of this availability zone. So, but later days, so the demand is high, they might improve the capacities. So if the particular data center was not able to maintain the one data center was not able to serve the demand, so they might come up with the two data center. I can say there is a possibility of greater than one data center at one availability zone. So coming to the down, so whatever the infrastructure was there physically, so multiple data centers I have. So all together, so what is the purpose of having these availability zones? As I told, like, so to take care of natural calamities, to take care of disasters. So I am placing the data centers at different locations, different distinct locations, so different locations. So 1, 2, 3, as I told, minimum. So I am placing the data centers at the different locations. So this logical separation all together. So these data centers, all these data centers all together will be called as a region. So if I say a Mumbai region, so means, so it is having a minimum of 3 data centers at 3 different locations. So all these data centers together, I am calling it as a one region. So it is called as a region. So again, so this data center I am not calling as a data center. So AWS thrown a word, coined a word that is called as a AG, availability zone. So availability zone 2. So availability zone 3. So again, you need to remember. So availability is not strictly one data center. So there is a possibility of greater than one data center. So I may have the two data centers here, 1 plus 1. So I may have the 3 data centers here. So this cluster, so region is a cluster of data centers, cluster of availability zones clubbed all together. So when it comes to the connectivity, so data center 1, data center 1 to 2, so 2 to 3 and 1 to 3. So explicitly, so they were connected using the low latency optical fibers. So such that data transfer should be happen without any latency. So they have discrete power management, explicit, discrete means explicit. So any feature or any functionality of one data center was not depending upon the another data center. So it have independent power capabilities, independent cooling capabilities, independent compute capabilities, anything of one data center. So that could be compute, that could be networking, so that could be databases, storage capabilities. So anything, so nothing of one data center was dependent on another data center. So they were completely independent. So anything that could be power capabilities, that would be that would be compute capabilities. It's a completely independent, but they were connected using the low latency optical fiber such that the data transfer. So in case the data transfer needs to be happen, so will be happen with the lowest possible latency. So depends upon the package you choose. So you may choose with the two different latencies. We will discuss in the later classes. So default latency and a dedicated latency. So depends upon the type of package you chosen. So the data transfer will happen with the zero latency. Why? Because it is an explicit connection. So the traffic won't go as a general traffic. There is a dedicated connection between the each data center. So this kind of logical separation. So this kind of cluster. So cluster of multiple data centers or cluster of multiple edges will be called as a region. So we have 33 such regions. So 33 such regions across the world, and 6 were proposed by the AWS, largest by the any cloud provider, largest by the any cloud provider. So depends upon the number of availability zones and the number of regions. So the point we have to discuss here was, apart from the regions, so we have the edge locations. So we kept Mumbai as a one region, I am talking with respect to the India. So you may correlate with respect to the US also. So, but understand with respect to India, I'm saying. So since I'm not sure about the cities of, so I know where the regions were present, like Ohio, yes, East one kind of thing. So, but not sure about the cities, but I'm just explaining with respect to the India. So I have two regions with respect to the India. So region one is Mumbai, and I have another region in India, that is the region two, Hyderabad. So you can assume that. So with respect to the India, you can assume that. So if I say region one, Mumbai, so the entire data centers can be present in the proximity of Mumbai. So with respect to the Hyderabad, if I say another region is being present, so the entire region are data centers. So whatever the data center, that could be one, two, three. So minimum of three. So here also you have the minimum three availability zones, three data centers. So we have a very big size of area. So as you told, India size, so it will be very big in size. So I'm just giving a random number. So somewhere Deccan Plateau, we have that Deccan Plateau. So this is the region two, Hyderabad. So somewhere Mumbai is present here. So we have region two here. So if I say Mumbai region, definitely, even though they didn't reveal where data center present, but you can assume that. So the moreover, all the data centers were present somewhere here in the proximity of somewhere here. So somewhere here they were present in the proximity in our Indian territory, somewhere it is being present. So if I say Hyderabad, so all my data centers being present here. So that could be one, two, three. So but we have more popular cities somewhere. Chennai is being here. So with more than 1 crore population. So we have Kerala here, Trivandrum. So we have type 2 cities like Coimbatore. So within Chennai. So we have, so unfortunately, Delhi, the largest populous city in India. So the traffic definitely comes from here. So there is no data center here. So New Delhi is bringing somewhere here. So apart from that, we have another. So metropolitan cities like Calcutta, West Bengal, somewhere is present here. So the traffic, you can expect traffic from here. So these are the popular cities I'm saying. Say New Delhi is there. Definitely, since this is a large city, so the more and more traffic will come to the data center from the New Delhi. So large business is being present here. So they need to supposed to communicate with the data center from the New Delhi, from the Calcutta. So from Chennai, from the Chennai, it might goes to the Hyderabad since it is the nearest region. So still, we are having only two regions for this much large area. So the traffic supposed to goes through the network. So to communicate, so it is a since the cloud model. So you are expecting your application need to work at New Delhi. So for suppose your application is being need to serve, your application needed to serve. That could be any application. That could be government application. That could be user application. Your application need to serve New Delhi users. So New Delhi is having a huge population, more than 1 crore, so 1.5 CR. Assume the entire 1.5 CR population, 1.5 CR population using that application. So take you scenario of YouTube. So YouTube is not using your or AWS, but still I'm saying. So assume YouTube. So if you take 1.5 CR, all 1.5 CR population making use of YouTube. So if data center or region is being present at Mumbai, so entire population present in the New Delhi trying to access the data center. So application needs to be accessed by the New Delhi people, but application is being deployed. The resources were present here. So compute is here, database is here, networking is here, the application is being deployed here. So now it needs to be served through the network. So definitely there will be some latency. So there will be a latency. So since the requests were very high, so the population is high, the request was very high. To avoid this thing, so to avoid this latency, since there is a huge request from the other regions, they were separated by large distances. So they were come up with a concept of edge locations. Edge locations. So edge locations are again the data centers. They are nothing but the DC data centers. So with all capabilities like compute, storage, networking capabilities. So serving, so look at the word itself, technical word, look at the word edge locations. So serving the people or serving the customers near where they are present. So here region is present. So this region is not sufficient to serve the New Delhi traffic or New Delhi compute capabilities. So that's why they built edge locations near the metropolitan cities. So they will identify. So over the time, it is not like that. How can you decide New Delhi? How can you decide Chennai? How can you decide the Trivandrum? So they will come to know traffic. So from where the traffic is being originated. So depends upon the IP addresses, they can identify the geolocation. So from where the traffic is being originated. So once they come to know that, hey, the more and more traffic is being coming from the New Delhi. So the traffic is supposed to go through the network. So there is a latency in the services. So there is a lag in the application access. There is a lag in the application performance. So that's why I have to go with the edge location. So provide some data centers of smaller capacity. So compared to this capacity, so regions are having the large capacity. Why? Because so this is a public usage. So and anyone can make use of it. Organizations will use it. So small business make use of it. Mid-sized business make use of it. So these availability zones are large in size with respect to the compute. So that is the servers and even storage also. So edge locations, but so even though it is having a region here, so I want to serve the people of nearby metropolitan cities where the traffic is high. So I supposed to maintain the edge locations here. So rather than going the traffic to the region, so it will go to the edge location. So they will identify the potential locations. So from where the traffic is being generated. Hey, traffic is being generated from New Delhi. It's being generated from the Calcutta. So we need a data center, additional data center here. That additional data center, ADC is the additional data center. So that additional data center is nothing but the POP. So point of presence or edge locations. Edge locations. So they will have a content delivery network. So CDN, content delivery network mechanisms. So whatever the frequently accessing or frequently requested content was there, so that can be served by these edge locations or point of presence. So other than the 33 regions, so we have the 33 regions. So we have 600 edge locations across the world. So these 33 regions were not able to serve the demand. So that's why they come up with the 600 edge locations. So we have the 50 plus edge locations present in India. So with respect to India, I'm saying. So other than two regions, so two regions were not supposed to serve the purpose. The data consumption or the access was very high. So they come up with the 50 plus edge locations nearest to the cluster of the people. So if the traffic is coming from the Trivandrum, so they might set a edge location here. So if the traffic is coming from the Coimbatore, so they might set the edge location here such that their request, their access can be served through these edge locations. So this is the regions, availability zones, data centers, and points of presence. Guys, any question?
Yeah, hi, Venkat. This is Shekhar. Can you hear me? Can I go with my question?
Yeah, you can ask. You can ask.
Yeah, sure. So thank you for the details. Uh, my only doubt here is when it comes to an edge location, um, it's basically a caching location, right? It's whenever first time the request comes, it's a cache location, right? So first time it takes time, but from later onwards, since it's cached, then it saves time. That's the primary purpose of edge location, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, got it. And one more question I actually wanted to ask you before the previous slides, if I may. I don't want to drag everything to back there, but real quick, when it comes to a private, public, and hybrid models you mentioned there. So there is a VPC as well, at the virtual private cloud. So why is that not secure when it comes to why people has to choose private? Just because the servers are dedicated and isolated, that's the primary reason, or VPC has any drawbacks?
I will tell. Still, as I told,
Yeah.
I will take. I will explain. However, this is a very good conceptual question. Definitely, we'll cover it here. See, so we raised the topic here like that. So we have VPC. So why people were still bothered about why people are still bothered about the security?
Security, yeah.
So at VPC level, so if I say the region, so the main problem with the public code was shared resources. The main drawback was shared resources. So at VPC level, what we will do, see, so I have a region. So this is the entire region as I told Mumbai. So this is the Mumbai region. Okay. So over the Mumbai region, so I myself restricted to a VPC, and VPC is being created for my resources, and VPC is being created. So this is my isolated infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Mumbai region. It is not like that my VPC cannot be accessed by the entire Mumbai population. Once VPC, virtual private cloud. So what it was exactly, population who doesn't know, don't need to get panic. So Secker can get it. So the remaining people can be in detail can be explained during networking topic. So I just give you a 2 to 3 minutes conclusion like that. Why it is not secure? Still we have the VPC. So at VPC, virtual private cloud. So inside the virtual private, so it's a large chunk of IP address, large chunk of IP addresses or resources. So that is allowed to only your organization, dedicated to your allocated to your organization. So inside the large chunk of resources, you will create a small chunk of resources. Why? Because entire chunk you cannot make use of it. So that small chunk is called a subnet. SN is a subnet. So at subnet level, so we'll create the firewalls, like knuckles will be created. So to access the control. So knuckle decide, knuckle decide who can come into your subnet. So subnet is a, like I can say, assume your VPC is having some, assume it is not an exact number. So your VPC is having some 1,000 IP addresses capacity. You can launch 100,000 servers. So I can make a separate set as a 100 IPs as a subnet. This is a subnet. It is having some 100 servers. So now at subnet level, so I can configure NACLs. So network access controls. Network access controls. It will decide who can enter my subnet and who cannot. So it's a explicit allow.
Okay.
So if I allow only certain IP range, so 10.0.0.2, so only this IP address can access it. So if the traffic is coming from any another, if traffic is coming from any another resource, it's strictly below. So this is at high level, network level. So I am controlling the traffic. So if we have only explicit allow, then only traffic is coming inside our subnet. One level security was there. So once the traffic is coming inside your subnet, so resources are present inside. Assume one resource, I may say EC2, or you may have the databases inside. So I will take the one example EC2. I may take the data. So let me take EC2. So I will take EC2. So again, so this is the subnet. At subnet, I have knuckles. I am happy. So the traffic is being controlled. Again, at EC2 level, I have the another virtual firewall is called as a security groups. SG stands for the security groups. So this security groups again is having the inbound rules and the outbound rules. So it will tells us who can access your resources and who cannot. Straight away, if I define who can access it, so through the which protocol, that could be like TCP, UDP kind of thing or HTTPS kind of thing. So through the which port, only through the particular port, and from which IP address range. So which IP address range? So who is the customers or the users allowed to access my resources? Only they can access it. So at subnet level, I have the knuckles. At resource level, I have the security groups. So this much. So
security is there.
Before that, you isolated using the eVPC. So this is the region. So from the region, you isolated using the VPC. So from the certain range of IP addresses. So you have the 3 levels of isolation. So VPC is being isolated. So you can block some IP addresses who cannot access it. At subnet level, we blocked it. So using the knuckles. At resource level, I blocked it using the security groups. So still, why you feel it is not secure? This is the second question. So the problem was, this is the shared resources. Everything is good, too good. Everything is too good. So, but if I say my EC2, so this is a server which will serve my compute requirement. So S3 was there, simple storage service, or EBS was there. They are the storage services, elastic block storage. And so I have the databases that can be served by the different services. So the problem was when I say the public cloud, even though I have this much restriction towards the resources, the problem was since the resources were shared resources. So if I launch an EC2 of capacity 1 CPU or 1 GB RAM, so it is not a dedicated mission. So it is a sub chunk of 100 CPUs and 100 GB mission. So from the 100 CPUs, 100 GB mission, so you will be allocated with the 1 CPU and 1 GB. So it is a shared resource. Since the resources were shared, so people will afraid that. So there is a possibility that so they can tamper my mission and they can steal my data. They can steal my data from the database. They might steal my data from the storage. So my data was very critical. I do not want to expose at any cost to the public. So that's why, so they will go for the private cloud. So
Okay.
since they are sharing the resources, since it is a large mission, from the larger mission, we are getting a small chunk. So if you keep your application, if you keep your databases, if you keep your content, whatever puzzing in the S3 or EBS, so there is a very high possibility that, so a common man cannot do it. There is a possibility of hacking. There is a possibility
yeah.
it can be done through the hacking. So it is a problem with the hackers, not with the users. There is a possibility that since the shared resources, they can tamper it. So that's why they're going for the private resources.
Okay, for
So
the
if
physical
they,
resource, the dedicated
if,
for the dedicated physical resources only, companies will go for a private cloud. That's really
So
okay.
if they do not want to share their resources, I want a dedicated compute, I want a dedicated storage, I want a dedicated networking capabilities. I do not want to share my capabilities with anyone. So that could be, so mostly government organizations, R&D organizations, large product-based companies where you have the patents, so where you have the product-related information, metadata will be there. So they may have the some recipes, or they may have the some secrets, they may have the some source codes. So definitely, so being a developer, you might know how important is the source code, how important is the architecture, how important is the framework. So at any cost, they do not want to go to the outside. So that's why they will go for the private cloud. That is the only reason.
Thank you,
It
thank
comes
you.
with,
And there is no, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
it comes with very high cost. The problem was it comes with the very, very high cost.
The private cloud.
Yep.
Okay, and
Yes,
even there is no guarantee that private cloud cannot be broken by hackers, right? There is no guarantee. Is that true?
Yeah. So that is the responsibility of no organization. So responsibility, now the ball is in the hands of organization. So they will have their own mechanism to protect their content.
Okay.
So
Okay, got it.
outside access is restricted. So still you want to protect your content. So that is your responsibility, organization responsibility. Let us take their own care. So that could be additional firewalls, that could be additional security measures, so whatever that could be, that will be taken. Still, it is a possibility. So there is
It's
a possibility that
yeah.
it can be stolen. Hackers can attack it.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you. This is good info. Thank you.
So Venkata, this is Srinivas. A quick question.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
where does the private cloud reside? Is it residing within an organization? But who is providing all the compute related info details? Is it like something like Amazon is AWS is going to provide the compute, and then that is being located in an organization and managed by organization?
Got your question. Yeah. So if I say private cloud, so yeah. So if I say private cloud, so we have the two provisions. Under the private, again, you have two questions. AWS itself offering the private cloud, say PC, private cloud PHN. So some X organization may says, hey, I do not want to go for the public cloud. Can you establish a private cloud for my organization? Yeah, we are available. You can come to our organization. It will come to their physical location. They may present at X location. So they will come to our organization. So they will establish a dedicated data center with all cloud capabilities. So this is one possibility. One way. So another way. So I just want I want dedicated resources. So but I do not want a dedicate. I do not want the shared resources. I want a dedicated resource, but a dedicated data center was not required. A dedicated data center was not required. So this I will show during the hands-on. So how you can choose the dedicated missions, without sharing the resources. So we have the tenancy, that is default and dedicated tenancy. How you can choose the dedicated resources without sharing resources directly in AWS. So AWS console itself, you can go for the dedicated missions. This is one way. Another way, no, I do not want to come into your AWS management console. I want a dedicated data center. So establish a dedicated data center. So AWS will establish a dedicated data center and will be taken care of. This is the second way. So third way was there. So the model was cloud. So nothing is doing by the AWS. Model was cloud, but nothing is doing by the cloud AWS. So organization itself doing everything. So they have their compute, they have their storage. So they have their networking. So over that, they will keep a hypervisor. So they will implement the cloud strategies. So everything will be taken care by the organization itself, org itself. No mention of AWS. So this is also a private cloud, but everything will be taken care by the org itself. Over that, they are implementing the cloud methods like high availability, like scalability. So these kind of things will be taken care by the org itself. So, but if these things will be taken care by the AWS, two models. So they can maintain a dedicated center at your location within your organization, or you can go for the public cloud. They will provide the dedicated resource.
Okay.
Clear, or do you
Yeah,
need any
got it.
further?
Yeah, no, good. That's good explanation. Yeah, thanks, Venkata.
Yeah, fine, Srini. Yeah, this is the regions. I hope you might got a brief view, what exactly the region. It's a logical separation, cluster of the data centers. So which one you need to choose? Okay, I have the multiple regions. Okay, so which one I need to choose? The first you have to go with the compliance. So do you have to deploy your code into the US? Your code is being deployed, your application is ready, so you need to deploy it. So first thing you have to go for the compliance. So do you have the permissions to deploy it into the US? If yes, you can choose for the nearest data center, nearest region. So next is the proximity. So as you told, the traffic is going through the network. It will be good if you choose your nearest region. So if I'm being in India, I can choose either Hyderabad or Mumbai. So it will be bad idea to go for the regions that is being present in the US. So it is like a region is like not like that. So end users. So your application is being deployed. See, your end users are from the US. Your end users are from the US. So the more and more traffic is being coming from the US. So you have to deploy your application in the US region. So end of the day, so the customers or the consumers needs to be served without latency. So that is the matter. So that is the proximity. So from where the traffic is being generated, so based upon the traffic is being generated, you're supposed to choose the nearest region for the end users, and then the available services within a region. So even though, so there is a limitation at some places, so no need to get panic here. It's a kind of an additional tricky. So don't think that whether this feature is available or not available. But some point of time, some services are not still available at the some regions. So for suppose you may have some AI ML application. So at some regions still AI application is not being deployed. So at Mumbai it is available, at Hyderabad it is available, but some regions recently they deployed a Kinder region. So there they do not have the AI ML feature application. Such kind of thing is there. So your application is expecting some kind of services. You need to check whether that particular service is being available or not. If it is available, you can happily go for that, the nearest possible and compliance. And then pricing. So this is a very minimal difference was there. If you look at cost, so assume one service maybe it may coming at $0.2 per month per particular service usage of it. I can take one service, say I can take a database instance of size, some specific size. So later specification you might understand. So I want a database to serve my purpose. So where I supposed to deploy it? So highest priority will be given to the proximity. Still, some people can go. So I can bear the latency. If they feel that I can bear the latency. So there are some regions. So where there is a highest competition, there is a good competition among the cloud providers. So they are giving the some subsidized price to that particular services. So you can look into the price also. Not much different. So within the regions, you cannot expect a bigger difference in the prices. So there is a small price, like as I told. So if I take on a database instance, $0.22 at one region, $0.2 at another region, $0.8 at another region. So there is a slight difference in the cost also. So if your size was bigger, if you want to make some cost savings at cost of latency, you can choose this thing also. So based upon these things, so one is the governance and the legal requirements, so proximity and available services within the region and pricing. So if pricing doesn't matter, you can compromise here. So you can choose your region. So end of the day, many people pay highest attention to here. So that is the reduced latency. So wherever from where the traffic is being generated, they use to place their application in that particular region if you keep the pricing aside. Yeah. So we see in the availability zones, as I told, a single data center. So we'll have a minimum of 3 and maximum, no, it is not the number. So it is changed. So there is a minimum. So if you take one region, if I say Mumbai is the region, so in my Mumbai region, minimum I will have the 3 availability zones. The purpose is to have the highest availability. So in case if there is a data loss or there is a natural calamity or something is happening to the one zone, your application will eventually will be up at another region. So that will be set. That will be done through the high availability setup. So that things will be discussed in the coming sessions. How you will set up your high availability and fault tolerance to your application. But thing is, the purpose of multiple availability zones was, so if one data center because of any reason went down, your application will be another data center. So minimum will have the 3 availability zones in a single region. So these are the points of presence, edge locations, as I told. If there is no region in that particular region, we're supposed to go for the caching purpose. As already, I think Shekhar raised the point, it's a first. So whenever there is a first hit, so even though the traffic is arriving from the New Delhi, the first hit will definitely go to the first where the data is being present. So it will go to the first Mumbai. So it will be cached at the Mumbai. Later it will be cached at the New Delhi region. So in the later clicks, it will be served from the New Delhi region. So the main purpose of the edge location was caching and content delivery. So this is the points of presence or edge locations with respect to the AWS infrastructure.
Venkat, sorry to interrupt you. Just a time check. It's already 9
Yeah,
p.m.
that is what I'm seeing. So it is already
Yeah,
1.5
9
hours.
p.m.
So we
and
are winding up here.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is the brief. Yeah, this is a brief introduction actually. Nothing about the services yet. I just introduced the AWS cloud, cloud features, cloud deployment models. What I said with respect to the AWS was just only regions. So how it is being logically separated, what is availability zones, and what is public, private, and hybrid cloud models. So this is a brief introduction about these AWS services. Definitely, the upcoming sessions will be more interesting. So why? Because we are doing together theory, hands-on, and some tricky interview questions and some real-time scenarios, even though they may not require. So I will incorporate. Why? Because without real-time scenarios, learning the theory definitely do not make any sense actually. So in the real time, you have to troubleshoot the scenarios with respect to services. Services were very smooth, available at the console. So anyone can create it, can do it, but debugging, troubleshooting is the matter. So I will definitely make you more comfortable and more interesting upcoming sessions. So if you have any questions, we can discuss. Otherwise, we'll wind up here for today.
So the duration is 1.5 hour daily.
It is again open to the participant. You can all together discuss and you can you can throw some random number. Any number is fine for me. That could be 2 hours, 3 hours.
Okay, got it. And
I
it's
will
Monday
follow
to Friday.
I will follow majority people anything. So that could be Monday to Friday, timing, uh, days, timing, time slot, anything. So you discuss among yourselves. So 5 people were there. So you discuss among yourself. Just come up with a number of working days and the timing. So I will follow that particular.
Venkat, is that the earlier you can start earlier, or is this the earliest you can start? Because it's 7:30 a.m. for you, right?
No problem for me. Will be available round the clock except 4 to 5 hours.
Okay, thank you for being flexible. Yeah, so I mean, for us, committing Monday to Friday, an hour and a half, might be challenging. I don't know about other people, but I think we have to agree upon one time window, maybe an hour regularly, or maybe alternate days or whatever it is. But yeah, definitely there's a lot of content to go through. Yeah, a lot of things to like understand and catch up. So I'm open for anything. I know some days probably may not work for all people, but I think Venkat is flexible in the timings and availability from Monday through Friday or on the weekend as well. But we can discuss and then see. We can meet tomorrow at the same time, or I'll leave it to the rest of the people. I know Thursday is, I'm speaking from my side. I know other people on the call are all dedicated for Thursday service at the temple as well, including me. So I don't know the availability tomorrow. We'll have to come up. Maybe we can use the group chat and confirm what times work for tomorrow, or we can meet on Friday itself. I'm
Sure,
open.
I am flexible. You can decide from your side. Just keep me posted. So I will schedule appropriately.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, how about Srinivas and Chandu? I know what is your schedule, your comfortness? I think for me, as Sudhakar said, if we can skip Thursday, that is good. At least we go to temple on Thursdays here, and maybe
Yeah.
for Venkat, having a Sunday evening class as a covering for Thursday, which will be Monday morning for Venkat, which may work well. So that's one
Yeah.
option I'm thinking.
Yeah, that and Chandu is in Colorado, so it's like an hour ahead already. It's like 10 o'clock for him.
If you
Uh,
guys are comfortable, weekends also works for me, for your information.
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like
No
Venkat,
Sunday.
you are very flexible. Thank you for being so flexible. Yeah.
Yeah, no Saturday, no Sunday. Even weekends works for me.
Okay, that was my question to Venkat also. Is he open in weekends? Okay, then yeah, let's do this. I mean, we don't have to have every day a class. Maybe we can do like alternate days. And it could be like a 1.5 hour class. That way we cover like 3 to 4 days a week, right? So that is also fine with me. I'm flexible from my end. If everyone is says that every day except Thursdays and Sundays 1.5 hour for starting from same time, or maybe we can start yeah, I think 7:30 to 9 actually is okay for me.
Yeah,
uh,
I think for me also same, but not every day. Maybe alternate days like Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, or Thursdays. Okay, Thursday anyhow it is not possible.
right,
So
right.
next is Friday or weekend, any weekend.
Weekend, yeah.
So I think 3 days is fine because actually we have to brush up ourselves what exactly we taught, right?
Yeah.
So
And again, this is just a proposal, Venkat. So let's say if you do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, whatever works for other rest of us, and the other days we can keep it for like us to practice on by ourselves. So we can, let's say, whatever you learn on Monday, you practice it hands-on on Tuesday, and come to the class with any questions you have from what you learn and what you practice. And then Wednesday you can learn something. Thursday during your available time you can do your practice, and then do the same thing for Friday as well, or one of those weekend days. We can discuss and then come up with that. But sounds like based on what we are talking right now, Thursdays probably won't work for most people. At least for three of us, as of I know, and including Srinivas, I think. So we can plan a class on Friday again, which would be Friday night, no, Saturday morning for you, Venkat. Is that okay?
Sir, yeah, I can understood like it is like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:30 p.m. PST works for all guys.
Yes,
And
as
a
of now,
and
I
a
get look like
and a
it.
weekend,
Yeah.
and a weekend, one weekend.
And the weekend, yeah, we can see, because we're already doing Monday morning, which is Sunday night for us already. So I don't know if we can do one more of the weekend days.
Yes, yes, true.
Yeah. So,
so
but
how,
So
maybe,
please, yeah,
yeah,
how
please
is it,
keep me posted in
Venkat?
the group, sir. Just to fix the
yes, yes,
slot and please, yeah, please keep me posted in the common WhatsApp group.
sure.
And one more thing I want to say, if you guys have any questions regarding cloud infrastructure, however, so please keep your email IDs in the group. So let me share the content. So whatever the PPT I'm presenting, so whatever the content I'm having, so I will provide the access to the guys.
Sure.
And do not hesitate to ask if you hesitate to keep it in the group. If you don't no need to, so any question is a valid question. I use it to say for my participants. Any question is a valid question. If you feel hesitate to keep it in the group, you can post privately also. The same number works for me around the clock. So at any point of time during the hands-on or during going through the cloud, so you can post any question at any point of time. So we are ready to help.
Thank
So
you.
please
Yeah.
schedule appropriately. So whatever the convenient time. So I will go with the majority people opinion. You just keep me posted in the WhatsApp group for the next session. So we'll schedule appropriately, sir.
Sure. I think as
And
of now, the next one we can do Friday at 7:30 p.m. again.
Fine, sir. Fine, sir. Understood,
Yeah,
sir.
so today is
and
Wednesday, right? So
Yeah.
we can do Friday 7:30 to 9, and then Monday again, right? So Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays we can fix it. weekend we can decide, maybe, you know, based on everyone's convenience, we can come up with some time if needed. Yeah.
Correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, just one thought on top of it, Srinivas, thank you. So
Mhm.
let's fix the Monday, Wednesday, Friday as our regular classes, and during the week, if we feel like we need an additional class, we can go for a Sunday evening, or if we need to cancel a class for some reason, right? Either Monday, Wednesday, Friday we have to skip, then let us have it on a Sunday evening as a backup.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Veera.
And Venkat, actually, one more request. Is it possible to have morning session instead of evening, like like Pacific time 6 o'clock, and that would be, I think, better, right? Because office hours starts at 8:30, 9 o'clock. Then 8:30 will be done by the time.
Yeah, that is what again, it is a matter of majority since five people
Yeah.
accepted for the evening
Okay.
slot.
Yeah, please. Yeah,
I
majority.
think, generally the challenge is like dropping kids at school for most of us here at that time is
What
Yeah.
exactly what exactly
Yeah.
Indian times works for you, Chandu? I will keep you in another group. I have another batch in the Indian
Oh,
time.
no, no. For me, I think it's okay because actually now anyhow schools done right for this this May. So
in a 2 weeks from now. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
correct. So May, June, July, August till August, September. Then
Okay.
that is the best time. Actually, morning also we can think about it.
Okay. That brings up another question, Venkat. So based on the agenda, like all the topics like we have, how long do you think it's going to take? How many weeks? How many months?
Yeah,
At the
so
pace that you're going right now.
let me spend some time today with respect to the AWS. I cannot say directly now. Why? Because I just taken inputs from everyone, from Shekhar, Srini, Chandu,
Sure.
Sudhakar. So
Mhm.
let me tailor the curriculum, and let me tailor the hands-on needs to be taught. And
Sure.
based upon that, in the next session, I will make you know how many hours I'm going to spending, what services I'm going to cover as a part of DevOps, and we have the technical managers here, we have the developers here, so we have the administrators here and the TAM people here. So let me tailor the curriculum. Hardly it may take today EOD. I will share the lesson plan kind of thing. So
Sure.
topics I'm going to
That sounds
covering.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, hours I am spending and hands-on I'm going to executing and kind of thing. So a lesson plan will be shared very soon. End of the day.
Sure.
Today EOD will share the lesson plan. Yep.
Sure. Sounds good. Yeah, I think that's like a good plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Sudhakar.
Thank you, Venkat, and thank you all. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
See you on
yeah.
Thank
Friday.
you. Have a good day. We'll
So we
we'll again connect on Friday for us.
Friday, right?
Right.
7:30
Friday
p.m.
7:30 p.m. Yes. Pacific.
Okay.
Right.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah, bye.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Bye.
Yeah, thank you all.